Brazil. They were only founded in 1973, and in the past few years they've been on something of a fairy tale story run. They've gone all the way up to the top flight of Brazilian Serie A. That's the top flight of Brazilian football. They achieved that just 2 years ago. And then since then, they've gone on to reach the finals of the Copa Sudamericana. Now, for those people familiar with European football, that is the equivalent of, say, the Europa League Cup in Europe. They were due, as you say, to play in the first match of a two-leg final taking place against Atletico Nacional tomorrow. That is on Wednesday. And the winner of that would have gone on to play in the top continental competition in South America. So there was a lot on the line for this team. And what's interesting, I think, an interesting insight into this particular team, Ivan, is that apparently all of the players who played for this side were Brazilian, which is very unusual for a top-flight team in South American football. It just shows that they were a very close.
Sure, Nick. Well, I mean, we do have just a little bit of good news in what is obviously a national tragedy here, and that's that they appear to have found a sixth survivor. Just a few minutes ago, we were reporting that there were 5 survivors, but according to rescue workers, when they moved the fuselage, they found another person under that. That would bring the number of survivors up to 6. Of course, there were 81 people on board, so that also means that 75 were killed when this chartered plane crashed outside of Medellin in Colombia early this morning. What we've heard so far is that at least 2 of the survivors were members of the Brazilian football club Chapecoense from southern Brazil. At least one was a crew member. This, again, as you mentioned, is being just treated like a national tragedy. The president has declared 3 days of mourning. Hundreds of people are already gathering in Chapeco in southern Brazil at the headquarters of the football club, at the stadium, obviously waiting for news of survivors and for those who were unfortunately killed, including there were many journalists aboard. There were a lot of support staff. This team was headed to the Copa Sudamericana tournament. They had only made it into Brazil's top tier football league in 2014, so they'd really sort of clawed their way up. They were excited when they took off first from their hometown down in southern Brazil. They were then stopped in Bolivia, and this flight had taken off from Bolivia. So they were thrilled to be making their way to this tournament and making their hometown proud, Nick.